Happy to join you. My name is Joy Brand Richardson, and I am the Vice President of Professional Development at JCC Association. I use the pronouns she and her, and I have shoulder length hair and wear glasses. Today I'm wearing a white and black top. And I'm joined by my colleague Sawyer Schwartz, who will be handling tech in the background. Thanks so much, Sawyer, for helping us out with this. Also on this call is your chairperson, Nicole Hagerman, who is the general manager of fitness and membership at the JCC of Indianapolis. We're very happy to have her in this volunteer role. She's been working really hard on putting these sessions together. We understand that there may be people who are new to your role, and we welcome you. And there are those of you who have been doing aquatics for many, many years and can bring your wealth of knowledge and experience to this group. Each of us should bring wisdom to the conversations. Please participate and approach each other with respect. And we invite you to ask for questions or clarity if there's anything that you're not quite sure of. At this time, I'd like to turn things over to Nicole to introduce our time together and tell you all about what she has in store.
All right. Well, thank you, Joy. As mentioned, I'm Nicole Hagemeyer. I'm the General Manager of Fitness and Membership here at the JCC in Indianapolis. And I've been working in aquatics for well over 20 years and just wanted to really felt like there was a gap here for us, and that by bringing this group together through our community convenings that we can network with each other, we can meet others, we can share ideas, provide documents and examples to each other so we're not stuck recreating the wheel that's been created 1,000 times before, which also helps free up some of your time to get towards those things that really make the impact in your department areas. This space is a safe space to talk about any challenges that you're having, and to really lean on those who have been in aquatics for a long time, and also to share that voice of those of us who have been in aquatics for a long time to pass down the things that we have learned throughout our years and through our experiences for this department together. So I do appreciate those that have been here forever to sharing your voice and expertise with the room, so that we can guide those that are newer in this area. Because remember, once upon a time we were new and someone taught us all the things that we learned to get to where we are these days too. I would like to jump into today. What we are discussing is we'll be switching over into basically our session is safety is everything. You all know that. That's not new to you. I'm not teaching you that. But during this call, we're going to switch into breakout rooms between indoor and outdoor breakout rooms. So if you are indoor only facility, then please choose the indoor breakout rooms. So the conversations will be more geared toward and with those other directors that are within your kind of realm there. And then if you're outdoor facilities, and of course, choose some of our outdoor ones. I know that we are getting very, very close to our outdoor pool opening season, probably not as close in Calgary as we are here in Indianapolis, but we are opening our water park on the 26th of May. So we are really in crunch time right now. Our pools have water in them, and everything that could go wrong is currently going wrong. So you are not alone. Don't feel like you're alone out there. We're all doing the same old things together. I was just sharing before we got on this call that 3 of my 5 pumps are not firing right now. So I have water, but I'm not moving it. So I know many of you can relate to these things that we're working on, because not only are we trying to get the maintenance up and running for a facility that only operates for about 15 weeks out of the year, but we're also trying to gear up our staffing for that. Here in Indianapolis, we hire 70 lifeguards to gear up for our summer seasonal event, I guess you could call it. And then we pare back down, and we are also trying to hire 30 swim instructors. And that's really, we put 600 campers through swim lessons every day at RJ. That's a huge impact. And I know you all are making big impacts like that in your communities as well, whether it be through your camps or your swim lessons, through water fitness, or just providing those experiences for people and coming and enjoying open swim at your facilities. All of that is very important, and none of those experiences are what they are without safety and all these things that we do in the background to ensure that everyone's having the best time that they can have when they're coming to your facilities. So before I really get into all the things on safety, I'll show you a picture of my J right now. We are currently, this is an aerial view that we have, but this is our outdoor water park. We have a 6-lane competition pool that you can see right here. It's 3.5 feet down to 12 feet. We also have a lazy river. That's one of our biggest draws to it. But the biggest challenge with the lazy river is how many lifeguards we have to put on that post. To manage that pool, we put more lifeguards on the lazy river alone than we put on the rest of our stands in our water park. So we know that that's a riskier area because of all the bends. We have turbulent water. So that's a big staffing challenge for us. And then we have a 0 depth pool that's tucked away in the back behind all of these funbrellas. That has a big spray feature, a fun splash pad, and it goes down to, you know, 2 feet in the middle. So that is what our operation looks like here in the summer. We operate Memorial Day through Labor Day, with our camps here the entire months of June and July. Here in Indianapolis, our schools are really only out for about 8 or 9 weeks anymore, as opposed to what it used to be. So we really capitalize on those couple months, which all of you know that makes for staffing struggles as well, because our teens are going back to school in August and we still have a full month to go. A full month of entire water park operations to be had when half our staff return to school. In addition to these spaces, we also run 2 indoor pools. Our indoor pool is also the same that you see on our outdoor pool, but inside, 6 lanes, 3.5 feet down to 12 feet. We run full programming in it all summer long, run our camp swims in that space and lots of water fitness and lap swimming and so forth. And then we have a really unique pool to Indianapolis, at least. It's our therapy pool, where it has a floor that goes anywhere from 0 feet to 6 feet, and it moves. So it moves up and down on a hydraulic lift to tailor to whatever the classes that we're teaching. And we also run it at 91 degrees. So it's quite the draw here for those with arthritis, to those taking water therapy, and then for all of our swim lessons. So that's about my operations here at JCC Indianapolis. And I'm just wondering, do we have anyone on this call today that is getting ready to open up a water park or outdoor facilities? All right, so we've got some outdoor facilities on here. And how many folks do we have on here that are looking to do, that are working indoor pools and outdoor is not really your jam? All right. Now, before we get switched over into these breakout rooms, I just want to go over a couple things that we can discuss while we are in our breakout rooms today to give you some ideas on some topics to get into. So what are our best practices for training and risk management? Well, one of the first things we can get to and think of is, how are we tracking and managing our in-services? Are you holding them every single month? Are you holding them just once a month? Are you holding your in-services bi-weekly? And then I want to ask you, because not everyone is certifying through the same lifeguard certification agency. So what is required within your certification agency? Do they require that you do 4 hours of in-service every month? Do they require that you do 2 hours of in-service each month? So it's important to look back to those governing agencies to see what it is that you should be doing when you're creating some of these policies. A lot of these things are already have been determined, and you just need to find that guidance. So I know here at our facility, we are doing 4 hours of in-service each month in the summer season, because we have a very large water park, and the more practice, the better, of course. In those in-services, we actually have an in-service plan that we've created for the entire year, January through December. We create that in advance. We actually use the same one every year because we've created it to where our topics, we're covering everything we need to cover throughout the course of an entire year. We've been intentional about the topics we want to cover as we lead into our summer season, and we've been intentional about the topics that we need to cover in our winter season when we're back to our indoor programming. But that's to consider, is creating that. I've also, when you have documents like that, or if you already have documents like that, please share them, send them to my email. We'll have that in the chat so you can send this information over to us, and we'll be happy to post it on the Aquatics Peer community group page on the website so that these things can be accessed by everyone. Because again, I said, we don't want to recreate the wheel if somebody's already put this stuff and information out there for us. So take a peek in there, because I've put the JCC and Indies in-service schedule for January through December out, as well as how we track our in-service logs. We also send, you got to track to ensure that all your staff are able to complete it. What other things can you do for safety and risk management? Another could be aquatic quick checks. Do you do a quick check on your lifeguards? And do you ensure that you're doing a check on each and every one of your lifeguards each month? Maybe they get one. What is required based on your lifeguard certification agency, if something's required, and if nothing, what is the best practice there? Here at my JCC in Indianapolis, we do an aquatic quick check on each of our guards, minimum once a month. In the summertime, everyone gets one on opening week. Every single lifeguard has a quick check done every single day. And on this quick check, some things that it includes is, are they free of any distractions? Are they scanning appropriately? Are they in their lifeguard uniform? Are they rescue ready? Are they scanning their whole zone within 10 seconds? All of those types of things that you can look for within their zone. You can also do drop drills with your lifeguards, where you either do that and depending on your area, maybe you're not comfortable running a drill with live people, and that's okay too. You want to check that temperature of your membership base and what you're able to run safety wise. But I would encourage that you get some silhouettes, or go get some baby dolls and fill them with rocks so that they'll sink into your pool. So you can do drop drills on your lifeguards throughout the summer and ensure that they are in fact able to see the bottom of the pool and they are reacting and responding within the appropriate amount of time. We also use these silhouettes or baby dolls at the bottom of our pool to ensure that our water is not too cloudy for us to remain open. So there are many things that can cause your cloudy water, whether it be your pumps just can't keep up with your bather load, or you've got maybe lots of sunscreen in the pool, whatever it may be. We've had our paint on our walls coming off like milk into the water before, to where by 5 o'clock every day, our water would be so cloudy, we couldn't see the bottom anymore. So these are all different things, but you need to have tools in place that your team can use. For us, our head lifeguards know if they put a silhouette in the bottom of the pool, we can no longer see the bottom of the pool, that we are closing that pool, not remaining open. Because if they can't see the bottom, you no longer are operating a safe facility. Other things that you can do is test, mark, protect. Test, mark, protect. So what is that? That's swim testing those that come into your facility, marking those that pass or don't pass, whether it be with a wristband or something that notifies that they have, completed the skills needed. And then protect. So that would be life jacketing children that are unable to pass the swim test. So making sure that your team is able to, that they understand what the swim testing policy is at your facility and that it is being run consistently. Here at the J in Indianapolis, we do our swim tests on our camp kids every single day that they come out to our camp to swim. And the reason why is that we have found kids that are coming from camp 1 week may have been doing art camp and arts and crafts and so forth before they come to swim. And then the next week they might be participating in soccer or tennis camp before their swim time. And we have seen kids that have passed 1 week that have come in to do swim testing another week and have not been able to pass because they're just exhausted from other activities. So it's important to keep some sort of tracking system. Also, it keeps us from, if we only test on Monday every week and a camper is absent Monday for a doctor's appointment and we don't test them later in the week, then we've not done our due diligence. Another piece to this is, certification tracking, making sure you have a spreadsheet or something to track all of your certifications for your team. Not only your own, but your entire team certifications. Here in Indy, we have started to use a program called Aquatics, and there are a lot of different programs out there that you can use that will help you manage and track all of these various pieces. I really liked Aquatics. It came from folks that were aquatics directors and managers before. I've seen these platforms come out where it was created by someone that came from the sports world. No offense, sports people, love you too, but you just don't know aquatics the way that we do. And Aquatics has done a nice job. I'm not advocating for them. It's just who that we use that's helped us do away from using our paper binders. And we are able to track all of our staffing certifications in there. It also holds pool maintenance records and logs. It holds our opening and closing checklists, our head guard checklists, our maintenance checklists, our backwashing logs, our chemical records. All of these things are things that you have to keep on file, and depending on your local pool codes, state or city, determines how long you have to keep those on file. Here in Indianapolis, we have to keep them for 7 years. That's a lot of binders. You know how many binders we use, and they get wet, so the papers get bigger. It's just a mess. So switching over to something digital is really helpful. And the last piece here is really knowing your local and state pool codes and where to find them. They're regularly changing. Get in contact with someone from your health department if you aren't already, and ask for a copy of the pool codes and really review it. I have also shared on our aquatics community page a document that I use for my aquatics team here, which is what I call our standards of excellence. And what it does is it's just a listed document that goes over, marketing standards and making sure you have certifications on file and yada, yada, those things. But it also goes over the Indiana specific pool codes, which one of them states like you must have a shepherd's hook on every body of water. You must have your lifeguard stand spaced within this many feet away from, the ledge, whatever. It's very specific on what it's requiring us to do for Indiana. And that's something that we've put together on a document so we can quickly go out, check all those boxes before the start of our summer season, make sure we've set up our procedures, our pool appropriately in accordance with those codes. And then we know that we can move forward because we've done our due diligence and we know our codes and we know we're not going to get caught outside of it. So without further ado, I've given you several topics to get into as we talk about safety and risk management in our breakout rooms, whether you're indoor facility or outdoor facility. What we're going to do is each will have about 4 people. You'll select the room you want to go into on your own, whether it be indoor and outdoor. Try to choose a room that's got fewer people, so you're going into it. We have our wonderful Sawyer on. He will help us move folks over if we've got too many a room and not enough in a room. So he'll be doing that behind the scenes. But we've got those rooms set up. So pick one to enter. And while you're in there, please introduce yourself, how long you've worked in aquatics, which JCC you're from, and then think of these things. Share how you ensure the ongoing safety at your aquatic facility. How do you track and manage everything? Is it another online software, or are you binders, something else? And then share how you orient your team to the JCC and help them see the bigger picture. So, and don't forget to introduce yourselves. So one person, please take notes. And you'll email it to me, which my email address will be in the chat. And then once we report back, one person from each group will share 1 or 2 ideas that are discussed. You guys ready? Let's break out.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you had some good conversations in your breakout rooms. It looks like maybe 2 of the 3 rooms are back. I'm going to put in the chat the link to the JCC Resource Center where Nicole had posted some of those documents and links. If anybody has any more information that you want to share, certainly send it to me or Nicole, and we'll get that posted on the JCC Resource Center. It's really a great way for us to share information so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Nicole, take it away with your breakout discussions.
All right, so from here, we had asked before we switch into the rooms if one person would take notes and share with us what we've discussed. So I am looking forward to hearing from any one of our 4 breakout rooms, or 3 breakout rooms. So whoever would like to go first, tell us where you're from and what you guys were discussing. I'll call on someone. And that someone probably knows who I'm going to call because he works at my facility. So I'll pick Cody to share.
Yes, I did know that that was coming.
Yes.
And that's okay. So we talked about which ways that we're ensuring the safety of our guests and patrons. And a lot of that comes to preemptive training, making sure our staff knows that they have the skills that they need to keep everyone safe. So basically, we touched a lot on our Super Saturday that we'll be hosting soon, and a lot of other facilities doing something similar where it's an all staff in services, making sure that everyone's getting together, discussing things like the EAP, and just doing some team building as well. So staff that has maybe worked in the indoor season or they're new, being seasonal, getting them together, introducing them to their fellow lifeguards, building that team, as well as just doing all the trainings the lifeguard needs, reviewing skills in water, CPR, things like that, and running through all of our drills, basic training things. We also discussed that we use Aquatics here at the JCC Indianapolis.
The same, but a great job. Thank you.
Really good resource there, being able to compile information and share it easily with our team. One of the things I like is that our head guards who complete testing and drills on the other lifeguards, once they change shifts, the next guards are able to come in and see how that's been done, who's been tested, what the results were. That's really helpful for us, as well as tracking and managing our staff certifications, chemicals, accident and incident reports, as well as swim lessons. And that's a big thing that we use Aquatics here for, tracking our swim lesson progress reports and attendance, things like that. Yeah, and then we talked about how we try to fill our staffing needs with the growing program demands, program growth, and just kind of cool with ideas on how we can make our swim instructors' lives a little easier. So it was good.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Cody. Thanks for letting me pick on you in this
Anytime.
breakout room. All right, let's hear from some of our other groups and what was discussed. We have a volunteer. All right, I think I'm going to select Mark A from JCC San Francisco. Would you mind sharing what your breakout room discussed today?
Sure. I think we had 4 people in our breakout room, indoor facilities, and it sounds like most of us have pretty similarly sized pools. We discussed in-service took a bulk of our breakout room. I think Kara and myself, we do monthly in-services between 3 and 4 hours. We shared some of the drills that we're doing between myself at my facility. We do different kinds of audits, quick checks, a floating ball, the usual suspects of drills. So a floating ball, a sinking red puck. We do a shadow drop, and we do full-size mannequins. Also discussed my experience with a Red Cross auditor, that service that you can opt to pay for, where they come to your facility, kind of like a secret shopper. They disguise it, or they pretend they're a patron, kind of just on the pool deck, and they record staff, and they provide really good feedback. So if that's something you guys have looked into, it's a really good service to provide any sort of upkeep and improvement for the staff that you guys have. We also talked about Aquatics. I've used it. I've used a trial before, but wasn't a fan of the scheduling aspect of it. But it sounds like it's been very helpful for a lot of you in terms of like chem checks and all that stuff. So we use when to work for scheduling. We might keep that, but switch over to Aquatics for the other, basically everything else except swim lessons. Yeah, it was a good chat with the 3 in the room.
You bring up a really great point, Mark, and thank you for sharing with the whole group. I can't reiterate enough what you said about having an auditor, whether you have to spend the extra money by having American Red Cross come out and audit you, or if you're with Ellis or with Starguard, they all offer that additional safety piece to send someone external to your organization, to your facility, to ensure that all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed. If you are not able to have someone come out and spend that extra money for a budget, then you can see what those things that they are looking at and auditing for, and you can create a document internally and have your supervisor or maybe yourself go out and do that check. That's what we do here at MyJ. We have a form, it's our standard of excellence that I use to check my team to ensure that all of their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed. So excellent, and thank you for sharing that, Mark. That's very good. We have one more outdoor pools group to hear from. Can I get a volunteer, please? Or I'll call on someone. And I guess I'll choose Chris because we were talking about your plunge pools. I think you're on mute, Chris.
Figured it out.
All right.
Right. We had in our room we had talked about I use DigiAquatics as well. And then we talked a bit about swim lessons in terms of group lessons and what you do with a swimmer that doesn't keep up with the group or fit into the group, and what your procedure is from there. But we also in the past year installed a cold plunge pool. It is not ice, it's refrigerated. And it has created a whole bunch of challenges because it was very popular with all ages. So the bather load to filtration was a huge learning curve because it was thrown totally out of whack most days. We also talked about at what temperature do you close down your at what cold temperature do you close down your outdoor facility?
And what did people share?
For the cold,
Yeah. What do they
it seemed the consensus seemed to be low 60s. I'm in Southern California, so it doesn't get too cold here. So even if it does dip below, into the 50s here, we don't close our pool, but we also don't have wind and or ice dangers or any of that. So.
Yep. Here we do a combined air and water temperature at JCC Indianapolis, and our combined temperature needs to reach 140 degrees. So if our water is kept at 84, we open at 56 and higher. Now, early in the morning, if it's 54 and we know it's going to be an 80-degree day, well, we're opening. But when we start getting into September and it's getting colder and chillier, if it's just kind of rainy days here, we shut down at that 140 combined or lower.
Yeah, over in Denver, we keep it open. The only time we close it is if the high of the day isn't going to reach 29 degrees. So even if it's 10 degrees in the morning, as long as it's going to hit 29, we keep it open.
Wow. With your icebreakers out there, I imagine.
Yes.
All right. Well, that is all of our breakout groups, and I really appreciate all of you for your conversation today and for sharing with the group as a whole. If you have any notes that you took, please feel free to email them to myself. My email's in the chat. And also any documents that you use for tracking, whether it be your in-services schedule for the year, or a document you use to track your in-services, or your quick treks, your drop drills, anything that you're using, logs or forms, this can help someone else. So please share those to me. We'll make sure they go up on the the Aquatics community peer group page, so that others can find and access those and use those moving forward. And perhaps you too will find something in that folder that will be beneficial to you. Aside from that, thank you all for attending. Our next meeting, we're going to take a break throughout the summer months because we're all incredibly busy. And so our next peer group will be September 10th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And please remember, use the email list to ask questions and stay in touch in the meantime. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and end the recording, and thank you all for joining us, and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thanks, Nicole, for volunteering and providing us with a great place to share. Take care, everyone. Good luck this summer.
Bye.